Hello everyone, in today's video, we will dive into using properties in Spring, working with profiles, and we will get to know the Spring expression language. Let's start by understanding the importance of application properties. It serves as a crucial mechanism for configuring various aspects of Spring Boot applications. Whether it's defining the server port, specifying database connection details, or configuring logging behavior, application properties play a central role in tailoring the behavior of our applications to meet specific requirements. Spring Boot provides flexibility in loading properties from different sources. We can configure properties using traditional application.properties files, YAML files, or even system properties. Let's take a look at an example of defining properties in an application.properties file. Here we can set a logging level, for example. If we set it on error level, we don't see log messages, since we don't have errors. But if we set it on info level, then you will see log messages on the console. We can also define the server port, for example. And in the application configuration, let's declare a server port variable. And it will get its value from the properties file using the value annotation. And now we can inject that property directly to one of the beans. Let's pass this to the string that we are printing out on the UI. Now let's start the application. And here you have it. It's also possible to fetch the value of a property using the environment bean in Spring. You can inject the environment bean directly into your configuration class or any other Spring managed bean, and then use its getProperty method to retrieve the value of a specific property. So here, let's retrieve the logging level. If you want to specify additional property sources or configuration files for your application, you can work with property source. This is useful when you need to load properties from external files or sources other than the default application properties or application YAML files. You can then annotate your configuration class with property source to specify the location of the property file. The specified property file will be loaded into the Spring environment, and its properties will be accessible through the environment abstraction or using the value annotation as explained before. Profiles allow you to define sets of configurations that can be activated based on the environment or specific runtime conditions. This flexibility enables you to tailor your application to different deployment scenarios, such as deployment, testing, staging, and production environments. So each profile can have its own set of properties, beans, and other configuration elements, and you can make them available only in certain environments. You can define profile-specific configurations using various methods, including profile annotation, application profile properties files, and programmatic activation. The profile annotation allows you to specify which beans should be created or activated based on the active profiles. Let's see an example and define profile-specific configuration. So let's suppose we have a Spring Boot application that connects to different databases in development and production environments. We want to use an in-memory H2 database for development and a MySQL database for production. We define two configuration classes, one for the development profile, which is the development config class, and another one for the production profile, which will be production config class. Now each configuration class provides a bean for the data source interface, which is injected into the database service. And now if we are on a dev environment, we can set the spring.profiles.active property in application properties. So here let's set it to dev. By activating the dev profile in application properties, Spring will use the development config to configure the data source. And in production, we can activate the in the prod profile to switch to the production config and use the MySQL database. Now let's discover the other way of defining profiles using the profile-specific property files. Suppose you want to use different logging levels as well as different server ports for development and production environments. And let's define an application dev properties file. Here, let's take the server and logging properties from the main properties file and put it in the dev properties file. For example, we define debug as logging level. So now, since in the application properties file, we set the Spring profiles active to dev, so it will load the properties from the profile specific files based on the active profile, which is dev in this case. The prod will not really work now, since we didn't create a database here. So it's not recognized, but this is just a simple demo to have different application properties for each profile. And we can run the application and see this on the UI. Now let's explore the Spring expression language. This expression language provides a standardized way to access and manipulate objects and data within a Spring application. It allows developers to define dynamic expressions that can be evaluated at runtime, enabling flexible and configurable behavior in the application. It supports a wide range of features, including property access, method invocation, arithmetic operations, logical operations, and more. SpEL expressions are enclosed within hash delimiters, depending on the context in which they are used. Now let's see a simple example of using SpEL. In value annotation, we use those delimiters to obtain the current local date using SpEL. And then we can inject it to the same welcome message bean that we have after we convert the date to a string. And here we run the application and see this on the UI. So this is just a simple example to demonstrate the usage of SpEL in Spring Bean configurations. However, SpEL can be used in various contexts, such as annotations of value, conditional, or in XML configuration files, method invocations, and more, allowing for dynamic expression evaluation and configuration in Spring applications. So until now, we have discovered the Spring Core container completely, and in next videos, we will go ahead and learn about data access in Spring. Thanks for watching.